Ever heard of a love affair so powerful it overthrew a king? Forget simple courtly romance. This is the story of Isabella of France and Roger Mortimer, a love that reshaped English history. Isabella was no ordinary queen. Known as the she-wolf of France, she was married to King Edward II of England, but their marriage was far from a fairy tale. Edward notoriously favored his male companions, like Piers Gaveston and later the Despencer family, showering them with power and wealth while neglecting and humiliating Isabella. The court was a snake pit of political intrigue, and Isabella felt like an outsider in her own kingdom. She was a queen, but she was powerless and alone. Enter Roger Mortimer, a powerful and ambitious baron who had his own reasons to hate the king. Edward had imprisoned him in the Tower of London, but Mortimer wasn't one to be kept down. He made a daring escape, one of the few ever to succeed, and fled to France. This is where our story ignites. Isabella was sent to France on a diplomatic mission by her husband, supposedly to negotiate a peace treaty with her brother, the French king. But once there, she refused to return. And who did she find in France? The charismatic and vengeful Roger Mortimer. Their shared enemy, Edward II, brought them together, and soon, a political alliance blossomed into a passionate love affair. They were no longer just a wronged queen and an exiled lord. They were a team, united by ambition and desire. Together, they planned the unthinkable, an invasion of England. They raised a small army and landed on the English coast in 1326. But they didn't have to fight much. The English nobility, fed up with Edward's disastrous rule and the greed of the Despensers, flocked to Isabella and Mortimer's side. The king's support crumbled in an instant. Edward II was captured and forced to abdicate the throne in favor of his and Isabella's young son, Edward III. Isabella and Mortimer ruled England as regents, their love affair now a public display of power. But their reign was short-lived and brutal. Their greed and tyranny made them as unpopular as the king they had overthrown. The story takes another dark turn when Edward II died in captivity, under very mysterious circumstances, with many believing he was murdered on Mortimer's orders. Their triumph, however, was their undoing. The young King Edward III grew tired of being a puppet. In a dramatic nighttime coup, he had Mortimer arrested. Roger Mortimer was publicly executed, a traitor's death for the man who had once ruled England. Isabella was placed under house arrest, her power and her lover gone forever.